So one more time, good day to everyone. My name is Artur Slatos. I'm representing company Data Security Solutions as a business development executive. My role for today's webinar is just very briefly give some hints, some ideas about how we could follow our white rabbit, what is meant as information, as data. To protect it, to get more secured and risk protected from different breaches. What actually our data leaks could come up with. Couple of maybe short information about what is DSS for those who do not know. We are data security solutions as a company. We are value-added reseller in Baltic states for delivering quite innovative and best of the breed IT security, cybersecurity solutions to our customers. We also spend a lot of effort in getting delivering newest information regards cyber threats, regards trends, and everything else to the market. So participating in a lot of various events as a host speakers, as a keynote speakers, and also creating our own biggest Baltic events called the DSS IT Sec Days, what's usually happening in October. So just follow our newsletters and you will receive latest information about what will happen this year in October in terms of security events. So today's agenda regards the white rabbit. So 5-10 minutes I will just give some my experience and some my overview about what is actually happening in DLP markets in Baltic states, what we see from the customer side, what we see from the trend side, and so on. Pavel will be able to share more information about data leakage and data leakage prevention tools. What are one of the best in breed in terms of solutions, in terms of all-in-one DLP solutions. He will represent more the device lock approach to the DLP, and later on our technical pre-sales engineers will be able to share live demonstration of very interesting and very easy DLP tool, what is also able to track Latvian, Lithuanian, Estonian, and Russian, and different other languages, and protect data in various places in various languages that are written. So as we see right now in markets, there still are a lot of information loss and information leaks outside there. It's not only in government sector, it's also in finance sector, in insurance, and in manufacturers, in any kind of organization who is dealing with information, with big data and customer data and other kind of very sensitive data. There usually will be some kind of data leaks. We as organizations, we need to get more concerned about this, because basically the data is so-called, so we call the data is 21st century currency, because at the end the bad guys or those will be insiders or those will be outsiders, they will try to convert the data what they have received into the money. So basically, at the end, they could use it to sponsor their new operations or sponsor their kind of hacking tools or some kind of other things. So from the last biggest data breach, what I want to highlight is that as you probably know, in a couple of days ago, some around 1 week ago, we all received a message from different government security departments that they have received ISIS database of all terrorists that are kind of fighting against kind of government armies, and this information was delivered to the government by using simple USB stick. So basically, still, when we develop a lot of cloud solutions and a lot of mobile systems, still the information is a lot of the times delivered and copied out on a simple USB stick. The same was happening in Barclays Bank, and the same was happening also with the very famous WikiLeaks kind of this document receivements and so on. So basically, we need to not only think about the old data breaches, what usually happens via different attached storages to the device or to the network, but we also need right now focus more and more into the cloud solutions and cover this cloud storage and cloud storage protocol protocols to analyze and understand what actually is going there, and how our users and what our users are kind of copying out from our internal networks to the cloud. Maybe this could be our corporate cloud, or maybe this could be private clouds or whatever, but still the information flows, what is going right now into the cloud is amazing big. If we look on the vectors, on data loss vectors, then actually there is not much what is changing. So basically the same emails, the same messaging tools, social medias, web pages, or mobile devices, they are still quite active in terms of information exchange. It's just that right now, as there is more and more tools available for us to use to share the information, then more and more our users are letting different mistakes in terms of sharing this data with colleagues, with partners, or with some friends or something like that. So we as a security department, we definitely need to think about how we could protect ourselves from the cloud side, how we could protect ourselves from the insider side, from the outsider side, and so on. So try to minimize all these risks what could happen with the information leaks. And what we see from our customer side when we talk with them about this trend of data leaks, then we see that usually customers tell that we do not have such kind of problem. And probably more and more this is because of that they actually do not know that they already have this problem, because they do not have information classification in place, they do not have information or data audits in place, so they do not know where the data is, who is accessing the data, who is changing the data, and so on and so on. So there are lots of the questions what is very hard to answer before we start to talk about data loss and data loss prevention system implementations, and that's why we also will share today more info, and then Pavel will show you more detail at how easy and how fast you could analyze all your business customers and business users, their workflow and they approach to the data and how they use it, where the data is stored, how they accessing it, what is actually this data. So basically you will be able to classify it, so you could start to create protection rules for protecting business critical and sensitive data. So you will not have.
Sorry for interrupting you. I just want to add that the users can do all the stuff you mentioned before on the fly. Yes, you can classify, you can search, and so on. I will explain it during my part. Sorry, but I just want to say.
Sure. Absolutely right. And this is the a little bit the change that we are trying to deliver to the market, that usually the classification part and data analyze part was usually led on the customer side. So basically, when the DLP vendors came in and told, well, we have a gateway DLP solution, something like that, the classification of the data and business processes should always will be prepared. And this was the most hardest part for the customers because they didn't have the tools with what they could very easily understand Latvian language or Lithuanian or Estonian language, classify the data, create the patterns for it, and later on to actually protect it. And this is what Device Lock today has changed, and that's why we also want to organize. We organize this kind of webinar to introduce all of these new tools that are in the market. I just wanted also to share our latest success story from one of our customers, what is Citadel Bank, who actually implemented this DLP tools from the Device Lock portfolio, and the main how to say effect from this DLP tool was that they were finally able to classify a lot of PDF documents, a lot of their local created informations what business users was created. They were able to classify all those documents and protect it in very simple and fast way. And this also, if you look in the banking space, that's decreasing the risk of losing customers in private banking sector area, or let's say in enterprise sector area. It's quite important for them. The same way with this DLP tools what we delivered, the bank was able to create very simple rules to also control the data flows what they are sending out to, let's say, finance organizations or to finance ministries where they need to send the reports with the sensitive information inside. They will be able to allow securely and controlled way to send this data to the government organizations. Yeah, so basically, in all periods when data is in motion, when data is in rest, and when data is in use, they will be able to track this data out. They will be able to get information out about the data, and actually to be 100% sure that the right person is sending the right documents with the right content to the right receiver. Yeah, so this was one of our last success stories. Of course, we could share more detailed information about it later on for those persons who will be interested to get more familiar with this case study. This is not our only customer in DLP field or in cybersecurity field. We each year we grow we grow in our customer base a lot. As we try to deliver very innovative and very price performance indicator good solutions to the market. And feel free to contact with us at any time to get more detailed information about the solutions that we could deliver, to get free POCs and free tests of different tools that could actually help you to better understand what is happening with your cybersecurity threats, what is happening with your IT environment, what's happening with your data and users, and so on and so on. From my part, this is it. Pavel, you could switch back to your part and maybe show the amazing tools that we are able to deliver to our companies.
Yes, thank you, Atos. First of all, I need to tell to everybody that your presentation was pretty, how would you say, all-covering tool. Yeah, so you was trying to explain what the situation is now, what kind of threats do we have now, and so on. My part is pretty similar comparing to yours, because I will not be pointing fingers on ISIS, on WikiLeaks or other guys. I just want to explain what should you have now already in case of data security? Yeah? So let me show you my screen. Just a second. Yes, now I'm ready. So, as you can see, now my presentation will be the part of Follow the White DLP webinar. And let me switch to my first slide. My part calls Black Belt in Data Leakage Prevention. So during my part, I will reveal the main topic of day-to-day security goals, like this: detect and prevent data leakage incidents within a company, and you will understand absolute necessity to accumulate users' activity data, or not even users' activity, but maybe the data with which your users are working from day to day, maybe from 9 to 9. So, and also I will point on the topic that you need to analyze this accumulated data, and the last but not least, you need to act against any kind of its leakage, data leakage, or other threats you can face on your desktops, on your personal stuff, personal computer, tabletops, and so on. Also, I will explain how to use device lock in the right way on your corporate network to protect sensitive data and corporate secrets that you are owning. So let me introduce myself. My name is Pavel Kiselov, and I'm a territory manager for Baltics. I am representing the Bakotech company. We are software value-added distributors. And now, today, we will speak about one of our highly rated products called Device Lock. And let me say that we do have a lot of customers all around the Baltics. One of these customers you already saw on a previous presentation from Argus. It's a Citadel Bank, for example. Now we will talk about device lock and all around these three words: proactive endpoint security. In my opinion, full DLP is device lock only on our territory, because we do have a lot of vendors that are trying to say we do have DLP functionality and on our board, and we are complete DLP solution. But I can say same thing about device lock. But when we will compare all functions that we have to our competitors, we will see a lot of white place, that is not covered by our competitors. So let's go forward. The first topic that I want to point on, it's accumulating users' activity data. The main question: for what reason we need to accumulate this data, and into what place we should store it? Definitely, believe me, it's a most question. It's a big trend. Data accumulating. First of all, let's start from the simple stuff. Everybody, for example, any searching engine inside of the internet is accumulating data. They are storing it, they are classifying it, and so on. And because of this, you can easily search in the internet for any data you need. Without any searching engine in the internet, you will not be able to find nothing. You will say you'll find nothing because it is no classification. Same stuff any company need to follow Because if company, if business or IT administrators have no idea what kind of data they are storing and owning, they can classify it and they can't secure it. So, in other way, you need to accumulate data to understand what you own and what should you secure. Next step is to grant some permissions to users to work with this data. Yes, because in any company you do have different types of data: sensitive, very sensitive, confidential, open data, and so on. And not everybody should have access into it. And even everybody has access to all data, please be aware to manage not to send out this data from your organization, for example. And to do so, you need to have special tools for it. One of the best tools ever on our market is a device log. Yeah, with device log, you can understand what data you own, and you need to, and you're able to grant some permissions to do some activities with this data for a particular user or for a user group. So the main line of this slide is that, guys, you need to know what's happening inside of your network. Not only inside of your network cables, yeah, but you need to know what happens inside of your computers and other devices you are owning. So, as Arthur already mentioned, that we do have data in motion, data in use, and data in rest. So, a good example when data in motion is when data is transferring through any network channel. And nowadays, we need to be able to understand what data is moving and what kind of channels we are using to move it. In opposite way, we need to have a tool to secure this data, or at least know and accumulate what kind of data is moving around, outside, inside, and so on. In case of device log, you can first of all examine, so you can know what data are moving. You can see at least 5 groups on this slide, yeah? Where you can know all about the data. Let me tell you that device log is working on a driver level, so we can have an access to data in unmodified view and condition. So in case of any SSL encryption, or in case of encrypted transaction and so on, you can have access to unencrypted data. So when you will have this access, you can do with this data anything you want. For us, it is no problem to examine data which are you trying to send out via email or any HTTP forms over FTP, Telnet, and other protocols. Let me pay attention that on this screen it is not the full list of protocols, or I don't know, cloud storage providers, instant messaging, and so on. If you are interested in, you can ask us or Arthur or any guys from DSS company, and he will provide you the full list of protocols or program. So I can see a question from our participants. Can you describe how Skype traffic is monitored? Is it possible to block messages with sensitive words? My short answer is yes, we can monitor Skype traffic, but I will not go deep inside how we are doing it. I think that you can ask DSS technical guy to explain you more deeply. Maybe they also can show how it works. You can block messages with sensitive words. You can even, okay, because McAfee, yes, yes, McAfee can do, and DevOps can do also, so no problem. Also, you can do a lot of tricks with Skype and others. You can block voicemail, not voicemail, voice calling. You can block file transferring and so on. Yeah, we can do a lot of stuff. Yeah, let's go. Same thing with the cloud storage providers. You can know what kind of data are moving out and what kind of files you are storing on Amazon, Yandex, I don't know, iCloud folders and so on. So let's go on. And I will show you the short slide about data in use. Data in use means that when you are using this data, storing, opening, transferring, and so on, as you can see, we can control any storage device, any USB memory stick, any external, internal disks, and also network disks as well. We can control and know what's happening inside of any interface connection, starting from old school LPT1, COM 1, COM 2, and go on to USB, any version, Bluetooth, infrared, if someone is still using it. Also, I hope that during our demo session, we will show you the terminal sessions and virtualization control, how it looks like, how we can manage it, and so on. And regarding printing channels, let me pay your attention that for device log, it's regardless. Is it locally connected printer, is it PDF or any virtual printer, or it's a network printer? For us, it's regardless because we are working on a driver level. We are getting all information from printer spooler, so yeah, we can handle it. Also, we can manage data transfer to and from mobile devices of any modern version. Yeah. Let's go. And the third part is data at rest. And this tool can help you to classify information and show you the whole picture, what data are stored in each PC or server inside of your corporate network. It's like a big scanner who will scan all file, all storages, and will show you the result of the scanning. After that, you will understand what data are stored and where it's stored. Also, you can do some actions after this scanning. If you can see that the extremely classified data, let's say it be I don't know, some secrets, yeah, some your internal secrets, and these data are stored at your reception computer, is in the Office Manager, yeah, and you need to ask yourself, is it eligible to store this kind of data at regular PC of your Office Manager? If not, you can immediately, for example, delete this data from this computer and report to his manager, or even you can just encrypt it and leave it inside of this PC, and then afterwards you can make some investigation how this data arrived at this PC and so on. So you can slightly read what is remediation actions on this slide. Delete, set permissions, log this event only, alert to data owner, notify the particular user, or even encrypt if it's NTFS file system now. And let me tell you that device log discovery and device log at all is getting better and better from version to version. So we are hardly waiting for a new version which will arise a new functionality. But device lock already more than 20 years on the market, so you can be pretty sure that you will find all functionality you need to secure your data with device lock and all their components. Let's move forward. Let me summarize all information I told you before. We already stored a lot of data. We done an accumulation of it. But somehow we need to manage this data. We need to analyze it. It's like a modern word for today. Big data. Yes, guys, it's a big data. So we need to have a tool to analyze this data. In terms of device lock, you do have the good tool to analyze it. And as I mentioned during Artur's presentation, part of this job we can do on the fly. Yes, absolutely right. So we can do it on the fly, and while customers are copying it, modifying files, or send it out, or even printing out, we can analyze data on the fly when it's moving, not only storing. So let's go forward, and I'll explain what kind of tools do we have for this. In case of device lock, we do have a functionality that can help you find some keywords inside of a huge amount of files. Device lock can open more than 120 files. Believe me, for today it should be even twice bigger the amount than this is on this slide. Keywords, we do have a lot of predefined libraries for a lot of topics, so you can use it. And also I will add that we do have these libraries on different languages. And I'm pretty sure that you want to ask me about the local languages, Baltic languages, for example. And I need to tell you that yes, device lock supports all Baltic languages. So you can type in regular keywords, expressions, or using local letters without any problems. Also, you can create your own libraries without no problem. Also, regular extensions. Yeah, you can use this stuff. For example, for what reasons? Yeah, I can tell you that you can create a regular expression for personal numbers, tax numbers, for example, or your local number, for example, numbering of your contracts, of your invoices, any kind of complexity you can use in regular expressions. Or also you can use file extension and properties, like for example Oracle IR and prints as well. So in this case, in this way, you can even classify your data with device lock. I mean, you are adding some properties, for example, into hidden properties of the file, and then you can do a classifying of data with device lock easily without any problem. Device lock can manage archived files, yeah, and we can unarchive any zip that we have. I mean, if it is archived inside of archived files, it's not a problem for us. And the very useful thing inside of device lock program is optical character recognition. I will say it again, we do support Baltic languages, even in optical character recognition. What does it mean? In this case, you can even do keywords, regular expressions, and other stuff, not only with text documents, PDF, text docs, and so on. You can even read the text and data inside of any picture. And it's easy. It will be handled inside of your personal computer, and it will not eat a lot of CPU time or memory. Don't worry about it. One very useful thing inside of device log, it's shadow copies, because it's a part of accumulating tool. You can accumulate this data inside of SQL database, and afterwards you can manage it not only on the fly but afterwards. If you need to do some research, who send out some particular file, you can use device log to find it out without any problem, and you will know exact username, exact time, date, from what place to what place it was sent out, and so on. Yeah, let's go to a very interesting part of my part of presentation, today's webinar. It's how to act against any kind of data leakage preventions with device log. As I mentioned at the beginning, the device log is a pretty cool stuff to do so. We do have a lot of functions how we can act against data stealing, data leakage, and even when your your user it suddenly send it out, but he didn't want to send it out, and in case of device log was configured in the right way, he can stop this mistake. He can prevent this kind of mistakes before it can be done. Because if you will manage not to send out particular files with particular keywords inside, when the customer or when the user will try to do so, device log will stop it immediately. So you can sleep well.
Pavel, we have one more question. Maybe you could answer. How it will work if archive will be encrypted or protected with the password?
Yeah, it's pretty simple to say, because in case of encrypted or secured with a password, we can't do nothing. We will not be even try to unencrypt it or try to break the password, because it will do a lot of consumption. So in this case, we just we can do two things. First, we can manage to block this send it out, or we can manage to block this transaction, and else you can set up it to send out, but it's up to you. From my experience, I can tell you that nobody is allowing to send out archived files with password or even encrypted.
If I remember correctly, but device log is supporting some encryption technologies, like PGP, like I don't know,
maybe
McAfee.
Microsoft encryption. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's mostly connected to external USB sticks or encrypted hard drives. So if the hard drive or a USB stick will be encrypted, so yes, you can manage to access to this data, to this USB stick, and so on. But if the file will be encrypted in some unknown way to device log, so it is no chance to unencrypt it. In this case, you can choose wherever to send it out or block this transaction. Yeah, I think that we can go on. If you don't mind, if you will have something else to ask, please go on. Okay, so let me explain in which way we can act against data leakage. Device log have some tools inside of it. Now on the screen, you can see the screenshot of a group policy editor with device log inside of it. Now I want to show you that you can manage a lot of protocols. Is it allowed, not allowed, configured, accessed, and so on. You can clearly block some IRC, ICQ, Skype, or even allow some SMTP protocol, social network, and so on. I'm pretty sure that you want to see what's next. Yeah, what will happen if you double-click to FTP or social networks. We can show you, but not now. We will show you it during the demo. You can ask a question, or even you can ask for a personal presentation of device log, or even you can ask for evaluation on your side. It's all up to you. So next slide, it's quite similar, but it depends on devices. Here you can manage any type of device can be connected to your personal computer. And not only device, you can see a clipboard, Bluetooth also can be managed this way. We were talking about content-aware rules, I mean keywords, about regular expressions, and so on. You can manage it in this way. You can manage it for a particular user, or you can manage for a whole domain of users, or any kind of group of users. Here you can see the log. It's a shadow log viewer, and here you can we do have a pretty granular filter with which you can filter out all information you want. All data on the right window are clickable, so you can open even file. For example, you can see file name image 0492.jpg. You can open it and you can see exact copy of the file which was transferred through HTTP protocol by user opening some kind of data, and you can see the size of the file as well. Yeah, now I will show you a few reports which can be generated through from device log console. Here you can see how many request was per each channel and what request was blocked and denied, and what was allowed. You can see on this screen. You can build these reports inside of even evaluation installation to be more familiar with. Let me summarize my presentation. I will repeat it again, and I will keep repeating while the data is leaking from your fingers, that you need to accumulate your data, you need to analyze this data, you need to analyze not only the data you accumulated, you need to analyze the reasons why the data was stolen or just leaked out. And afterwards, you need to manage your internal DLP solution. You need to set up it in the right way. You need to tune it from day to day, from month to month, from year to year, according to your requests, according to requests of your business, and only after that, when you will be repeating this circle, accumulate, analyze, tune up your system, accumulate, analyze, tune up. When you will be doing this circuit unstoppingly, so you will be doing this process from day to day, your network, your corporate data, your secrets will become more secured. Believe me, I do have a lot of customers who are already using the device log, and they are pretty happy about it. They do not have any problems with tuning it up. They have less problems with stolen data, and even if their users are changing because someone in leaving company, someone new is coming in. After device lock integration, they can stop data copying data out before people or some kind of user will leave your company. Because as mentioned, Arthur, a lot of data leakage happens now even through old school USB stick. Yeah, I can tell you that, for example, I don't know, maybe 5-10 years ago, it was CD or DVD on a list, yeah, of data leakage sources. But for now, I even don't have any CD or DVD drive inside of my PC. Maybe soon we will have no connection port to connect external data, but now it's very actual. Okay, I'm able to pass the presenter role to Arthur. So
hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. I hope other guys as well.
Okay, so my name is Arthur, and I'm also from Data Security Solution. And today I will show you the short demonstration of device lock solution. I will explain you how to use it. So if you can give me the option to share my screen.
It's already done, so you can try.
Okay.
So guys, thank you for your time. I'm leaving you, and Arthur, you are the main.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. As Pavel already explained a bit information about device lock, I will go just straight ahead and show you the device lock possibilities, how we can control, for example, protocols, how we can use, for example, one of the latest device lock module called Discovery Server. And I will just go ahead and start with Discovery Server. So basically, Discovery Server lets us scan our network computers and, for example, find the sensitive information which are located on these machines. And so basically, to better understand and use device lock Discovery Server, you need to understand and you need to know what is your sensitive information. So basically, you need to know what you would like to find. And so to configure a device lock Discovery Server and to get started with the scan, we basically need to complete the three steps of the configuration. So basically, the first one is we need to determine the endpoints that we want to scan, and also the location where we want to agent to scan the files. For example, where agent will look for the files. And I have opened it here, the unit section. Basically, here is the first step where we determine which computers we would like to scan. For example, in this particular example, I have selected only one computer that I would like to scan. I have set some credentials for the agent, so the agent will have the full access to these machines, and he will be able to scan all the necessary files. And also, we need to specify the filter. So basically, where the agent will look for the files. And here we have two options. We can create, for example, include filter. So basically, where the agent will try to find those files, and exclude filter. For example, if you would like to exclude some folders, maybe there's some folders with the files which are too sensitive, and we don't want agent to scan those folders. And I will go ahead and just open one of the filters. So basically here we can set the location where the agent will try to scan those files. For example, we can set the agent to scan, for example, system drives. This means that he will scan the drive on which operating system is located. We can also scan the network drive, some file shares, removable storage device. We can specify some paths. For example, there is already some predefined paths for files like my documents, program files, some system folders and temporary folders. And also we can scan, for example, cloud storage folders. If on those machines the Dropbox is installed, then probably there will be this Dropbox cloud storage folder, which we can also include in our scan. And we can also specify some custom paths. Like in this example, I have specified the custom paths for D drive, and also I have checked it to include all the subfolders for this drive. And at the end of this filter, we have options to, for example, scan all files in this location, or we can, for example, specify some additional filters for documents, like using wildcard. We can specify, for example, to scan only documents, PDFs, XLS, and so on. So we can use every document extension here. We can, for example, also set the time frame. For example, scan only documents that have been modified between, for example, in the particular time period. We can specify how big a file needs to be to be included in this scan. We can also scan the hidden files, system files, etc. So at the end of this, we need to specify if device lock discovery agent will be automatically installed on those machines, because a discovery agent is separate from device lock agent. So basically, device lock agent, it's called the device lock service, which basically also includes discovery agent in it. But if for some reasons on some endpoints there is no device lock agent, we can install the separate, for example, agent called discovery agent. And for example, after he did the scan, we can remove it automatically without leaving any trace of the agent. So the next step here, we need to create the rule. Basically, we need to create a rule and set some actions. Basically, rule means we need to specify what agent will be looking for. For example, we can do the scan based on keywords. There is a lot of already predefined keyword lists. You can, for example, take, for example, let's say, I will open like one of the keyword. Okay. For example, credits. I can look what kind of keywords is in this group. I can see that we can also, if I click, for example, duplicate this group, I can change it. I can create my own keyword group, and I can select the condition, for example, match any keyword in this group, or match all keywords, and only then. For example, this file will be reported as violating or as sensitive information. We can use optical character recognition. For example, select different kind of languages, for example, English. And let's say if these keywords will be located, for example, in the image files, it will also be detected. We can load some keywords from different documents or keyword lists. And so basically we can detect this type of sensitive content based on keywords, based on the patterns. Patterns are all patterns are written in regular expression. I can, for example, open credit card number pattern and see what regular expressions look like. For example, at the bottom, I can also test and validate this group. And for example, if you create your own pattern, you can test this pattern with some documents. For example, here I have on my desktop some documents that contains bank credit card information. I can open, and as you can see, this, for example, this pattern matched this document. So basically, this document contains the credit card number. And we can also, let's say, we can also combine, for example, together keywords, patterns, document properties together in a one big complex rule. For example, like this one at the bottom, I have, let's say, I will just go and change. Sorry, I go to complex. I will locate my custom-made complex group, which basically consists of two content groups. For example, one is a keyword group, which is basically a group of keywords which consist of some keywords that are confidential. And the second one is a credit card number pattern. And basically, I have combined these two groups in a one complex, and between them there is options to change, for example, or use and. So basically, I can say let's say the confidential keyword group needs to be together located with the credit card number. Only then the rule will trigger. Or I can use or. So basically, it would mean that a credit card or confidential information must be located. And at the end of this, we need to specify some actions to take. For example, we can take no action, we can delete those files, we can save delete those files, which means that these files will not be able to restore them. We can encrypt the file. For example, we can encrypt for specific user. So basically here I have my user which have a certificate, and we can encrypt those files so that only my user will be able to open those files. We can change the permissions of those files. I can add different users or groups, specify some permissions, for example, only read, so they will be able to only read those files. And we can also apply the same for the actions for the archives. And we can also log these events, send alert for the administrator, or notify the user. And the third step is we need to create the task. So basically, here I have two different tasks in which I have selected my units that I created. I have selected my rule that I have created, and I need to schedule the scan, for example. And in the scan options, there is scan priority. So basically, we can determine how much resources agent will consume when the scan is scheduled. For example, if I select below normal, the probably user will not even notice the impact that his files being scanned. And at the end of each scan, system automatically create the report of every file that have been found and have matched the rule. For example, I can see here are, for example, only 3 files, and if I go here, I can, for example, select a file for this scan. I can see that there is a lot of files detected. And let me just go back and, for example, from here, I can see there is one log. I can open this log and I can see that, for example, date time. I can see the location where it was, where this file was located. I can see the action which was taken. I can see reason why this log triggered, and pretty much here it is everything. I cannot open these files from here, but for example, if these files have been transmitted over the network and I have set the shadowing, I can later, for example, see those files. I can go to Shadow Log Viewer. I can, for example, use filters to filter. For example, I would like to see which files failed to send over the network. For example, here I can see that some files, outgoing files, for example, file name was credit card test document, and for example, user tried to send it over the Facebook. So from here, I can open this file, I can view, yes, there was some credit card information, and it was blocked because I had rule that, for example, do not allow to transmit files which contain the credit card information. Here I have some different also alerts that, for example, webmail, for example, also credit card information was sent over the webmail. Probably it was a Gmail, but if I want to see the more details, I can go to, for example, Audit Log Viewer. Here I can also use filter to see, for example, which have been failed. And from here I can see, for example, the remote host IP address. This was Gmail because the domain is mail.google.com. I can see which user it was, what program was used. For example, in this particular reason, it was Internet Explorer. And what I would like to show you next, how we can, for example, set some policies for protocols. Here we have different kind of protocols and services like file sharing, webmail. For example, under file sharing, we will discover that there is a Dropbox like Google Drive, etc. And we have two types of policies. We can create, for example, regular policy and the offline policy. Offline policy means that when the agent do not have the connection to server, it's understood that he is offline, and the policy will be automatically changed to offline policy. So let's just open one of these services. For example, I don't know, file sharing. Like I can specify users or user groups. I can either allow or either deny, for example, outgoing files. If this service using SSL, then I can also deny, for example, file sending. I can specify the time frame, where, for example, when is allowed to send those files and when not. For example, with the white color, there is denied time, and the blue one will be allowed. For example, only allowed to send files on a working days. And for example, we can also create the protocol whitelist. For example, if I choose my user, I can, for example, say that all the file sharing service is denied except, for example, Dropbox. And we can also use the content inspection rule, or for example, I allowing only you to use Dropbox, but I also would like to use content inspection rule. So I'm sure that anything of I can be sure that any of my sensitive data is sent over the network. I can also send alert when this happens and the log event. And someone already asked for Skype. There is options to, for example, deny send receive any data, or deny only outgoing files or outgoing messages. And if we go, for example, to shadowing options, we can also, for example, shadow all outgoing messages. We can shadow all outgoing calls, all outgoing files, etc. And so basically, for each of these, let's say, protocols and services, we can create the content-aware rule. So basically, we can go. I already had here some sort of rule, but I can create my my own new rule. And let's say we would like to, for example, we don't want to user to send any documents with, for example, credit card information. Here we need to select for which user this policy will apply, and what kind of actions will be taken, on which protocols this rule will trigger. And after this, we can also set up the alerting. And so basically, this is how the Wiselock use its tools to protect your confidential information. So basically, the first thing you need to understand, you basically need to understand what kind of sensitive information you have, and later on, you need to create this type of content-aware rule based on your sensitive information. Do we have
we have questions. We have more time, and we have also a question.
Okay.
I have already kind of copied this in your chat. So basically, the question is: does the software show keyword matching a percentage of keywords in the files to reduce number of false positives? If you get a report of 300 files with possible confidential data, how not to get lost and concentrate on really the key files where we have found some keywords that we were looking for, and actually in those files, those keywords are, I don't know, sensitive for us, let's say.
Okay, so basically we have for example, we have document properties for like contains text in a percent. I think we can also combine this with the keyword, for example, with the keyword group. And let's say, for example, if it contains, for example, 50% of the keywords in text, or I don't know, or patterns. If we have, like, for example, in a document which contains only one credit card information, we do not block. But for example, if it contains more than five credit card numbers, we block it. So basically, we can do this.
Okay, thanks.
So, any more questions?
I think not now. So you can continue.
So how much time we have left? And maybe someone have some I don't know, something that they would like to see. For example, I can show you some how it works. For example, I have already set the rules, for example, to block the documents which contains credit card information for the Gmail. And for example, I can show you how this is being blocked by device lock. For example, here I have the same, for example, document, credit card test. And if user, for example, tries to upload it, it will be blocked. So you can see you don't have permissions to send data, and this document does not even get uploaded. But if I would like to send any other document that do not contain the credit card information, for example, here I have some test document. I will show you later what's inside in this test. So basically, I am able to upload it, and later I can also send. And the same goes for example, for the text that we enter here. For example, if I would like to enter credit card information, but in this reason I do not have this policy set up, but it works in the similar way. So basically, if I enter here some credit card information, and if message contains credit card information, it will be blocked, for example. And so we do not control only files, we control all messages, the protocol. So here you can see, for example, this was this test file. It contains some sentence, put some information, but the other one was credit card test. So basically, it contains the credit card for samples. So basically, because this rule had the pattern based on the credit card, this file was blocked. Okay, so, and later on we can also, for example, let's refresh. You can see this was the sample credit card test, which was a couple of minutes ago, like 2 minutes ago, and it's failed. So from here we can go, for example, to shadow log viewer, and we can refresh it, and you can see from here we can open this file and see what kind of file was transferred. So for my demonstration, I think it's it. I showed what I want to show you. So if anyone have any questions, feel free to ask me. And for example, if you would like to test device lock in your organization, feel free to contact any of us, me or my colleague Arthur. So basically, we can give you the test licenses, so you can play around with this solution and test it. So thanks for your time. Pavel, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, thank you, Arthur, for your demonstration. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And again, if you have questions, you can ask directly to DSS. Any kind of question, technicals or regarding the
sorry, one more question. What happens if I replace all credit card number data files this way? 0 with O, 1 with L, 3 with E, and so on. Is it smart enough? I will paste you the question. Maybe we will read it in one sense. So I think that if we kind of this is like coding. So basically, if we change the numbers with letters.
Actually, yeah, you can do it because, for example, we detect this type of content with the pattern. So basically, if you change something in a credit card, basically you will be able to send this kind of information.
But let me add, yes, it will work for, I don't know, not a big bunch of data. Yeah, you can manually change this. But in case of big amount or a huge amount of credit card numbers, it is not so simple to do. So that's why I think it's not even readable.
Yeah, and just to add, in the market there is right now very deep kind of development for the future. What right now various DLP vendors are talking about, it's more linguistic analysis for the content. But such kind of solutions in the market maybe will be visible in terms of 3 or 5 years, because right now the linguistic analysis is only in let's say starting phases, and it's maybe not working so good. When device lock in future will have such kind of linguistic analysis tool, then we will be able to track this down. So basically there will be no difference how you type the number. You can type the number with the words like 1 or 2 or 3, or you can type the number with the numbers, with the mathematic numbers like 1, 2, 3, or Roman numbers or something like that. But as Pavel told, if we want to take out from the company a huge amount of data, because later on we will need to use this data. So this means we want to sell this data, or we want to use this data for our new employer or something like that. We will never take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 credit card data. We will talk about thousands and thousands of such kind of data rows. Then
let me add one more thing, that in case of credit card numbers, you need not only credit card numbers, you need other information as well. So even if you will change the numbers to letters in some way, you can't hide the family names, other identifications, and so on. Yeah. Sorry, Artur, you can go on.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, as we mentioned before, we will do the logging of any file who is leaving the organization. We will be able to fully shadow the file to later on open it up. And when we will do the log analyze, and we will open up the file, and we will see that there is numbers changed to letters and something like that, we will be able just to create another
rule,
yes, with the pattern, what states that the numbers could be also, letters or first part of the letters and so on. So then the next time
we can use it with regular expressions.
Yeah, or something like that, and then we will have all forensic information regards who was taking this file, what level he sent it out, this was network or this was, some kind of attached device. We will have actual copy of the file. We will be able to kind of go to our security department or go to, HR department and ask to kind of, cancel agreement with this employee and send him to, police and take other legal actions to deal with such information leaks.
Yes, and when it will happen, the customer will make an investigation, and especially he needs to do it more officially. So every employer should know about this stuff. This situation, and when other guys will know about it, they will not do the same stuff in the same way next time. They will be thinking about, do I need some problems? No, so I will not do the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely right. So anyway, guys, we will not take more of your time. So basically, if you have any kind of questions, you want to do free information or data audits to allocate data, to understand where it is, to maybe understand if you need such kind of tools or not, and then to have more deeper overview about your data flows, feel free to contact us. We will be able to do the POC to show how the data discovery tools is working, how the content awareness tools are working, and so on. And then later on you will understand how easy it is, and how actually this is also not so high. There are not so high costs for such tools to later on implement in your environment. Just contact with us via email, via phone, whatever is needed. We are always here to support you guys.